It's morphin' time! Hello, this is Soundout here, and welcome back to another Kamen Rider review. Today we're taking a look at the complete selection, modification, Amazon's driver, version Alpha. Now this is the second version of the complete selection modification, or as it'll be known for the rest of the video, CSM, Amazon's driver, from Kamen Rider Amazons, the 2016 series, which broke new ground in Kamen Rider for being very adult in several ways, not only in more mature storytelling and cinematography styles, but also being incredibly violent. So pretty much everything for Amazon's driver-wise has been Premium Bandai, and this is no different. However, there is a twist. This is one of the belts that was brought over by Team Rider at Bluefin Brands. They've been bringing over complete selection modification as well as DX belts for about a year now. And yeah, this is the first one I've personally picked up from their new distribution deal, and I'm very happy. I ended up saving about $100 over importing it out of Japan, so very, very cool. And yeah, so I want to take a look at the box, mostly because it's pretty. It's got Alpha on it. It's got, you know, actual, like, blood stains, because Amazon's blood is black. You can see on the back here as well. You've got a very beat-up Amazon Alpha from the movie. They really tore into those suits in that movie. So you can see extra scar and detail. So it's kind of like a Season 2 on the front, movie on the back kind of vibe, which I really dig. And the reason why this is a whole separate version of the Amazon's driver we'll get into in a little bit, but I just thought the box looked really nice. And the other cool part is the Bluefin brand sticker for the legal is on the shipper box on the outside instead of on the inner box, which is pretty cool. So let's crack into this thing. First thing I wanted to highlight was the cool instruction sheet. It has English and Korean instructions, which points to, I think, just different things. So there's like the Korean half of it, and then the English half of it, which even breaks down all the sound effects, all the dialogue clips, pretty much everything and how to activate them. This was incredibly useful because most of the time when I'm looking at Toku toys imported from Japan that have a lot of features like this, I'm usually flying blind, but this review should go a little smoother because I know exactly what's going to happen thanks to this English instruction book. So for those unaware, the complete selection modification line of Kamen Rider drivers and belts started as taking the deluxe toy, adding an adult-sized belt, and filling in all the extra details that were missing. It has now evolved into making the most premium and excellent versions of Kamen Rider roleplay belts imaginable. And this one is no different. Now, the complete selection modification Amazon's driver came out a couple years ago before Team Rider got their distribution deal, and I didn't get a chance to pick it up. It was very expensive importing it out of Japan, so this is my first experience with the CSM mold. I, of course, have the deluxe version, which I reviewed previously, as well as the Neo Amazon's driver. This is my first time holding the CSM mold. It is larger, it is better, it is all around the nicest, most premium version this belt has ever seen. And in the Alpha version, you can see it is scarred and damaged all over the place. The reason why is because Alpha's driver, specifically in the series, even before going through the rougher fights, started out, when we saw it at least, super beat up. You can see just a lot of weathering detail all along the belt as well, and it just is impressive. And speaking of the belt, this is meant to be adult-sized. The plastic band part is not necessarily the most adult-sized thing, but if you remove the back part here, which is on a Velcro, you have this, this is the clip that actually clips together the two halves. I find this to be really useful when sizing as opposed to the clips in the front. But if you pull this out, you can see that there is extra length. We can actually pull the strap out like this. So while it has one side, you can actually extend it all the way out there, which pretty much should reach around most average-sized people. Keep in mind this was made for a market in Japan, so, you know, Westerners, we're going to have a hard time sometimes with these, but with the easy clip system here and the actual, like, nylon strap, I'm sure there's some modifications out there. For me, when I put this on, just going with my average build and having gained a few pounds during lockdowns, I kind of go about there, so it's not fully maxed out, but keep that in mind. It may fit you, it may not fit you. but it is definitely a lot closer than, say, the deluxe belts, which are kid-sized. And for the sake of the review, what I'm actually going to do is pull this off. So there's 2 clips here on this side and 2 clips on this side. That way we don't have to worry about this belt getting in the way. But the fact that even like the back of the belt buckle piece is all weathered out is pretty dang cool. And then even the back of the driver. Like, you don't need to do this necessarily, but this is what gives it that premium feel. Down here, it takes 3 AAA batteries. You just have to push in that tab with a pin and pull that out. And then it has a switch that has 2 different directions. But overall, this thing looks really cool. You also may notice how much weight there is. It's hard to portray on camera, but both of these grip handles are actually fully die-cast metal, as well as the center section here. So this whole section along here is die-cast, which not only makes it a little front heavy, I mean, when you're wearing it, it's fine, but this thing is hefty. It actually has like a weight to it. It feels more real. It feels less like a toy and more like an actual weighted item that would be in the series, which is amazing. Now, before we get to electronics, I do want to talk about the faceplates. With the normal Amazon's CSM driver, it had 2 faceplates, one style for Omega, one style for Alpha. This one just has 2 styles for Alpha. So this first one here that I have attached is got clear eyes with a sort of broken glass effect that gives it the fire eyes effect of the transformation. And you also get this one that is partially transparent green. So if you're displaying this on a shelf and want a more accurate look, that's kind of what you want to go with. So this looks like the belt when it's, you know, when Alpha's transformed, it's going to have the green eyes all the time, even if they're not always lit up. So that's kind of a cool thing to have. But if you're doing the transformation part, you can put this one on so it's clear eyes, and then when you go to transform, and it'll light the eyes up a lot brighter. So we're going to use this one at first, and I'll show what the lights look like with this one after. Also included, as we're going on contents, is this knife piece. Despite Alpha not using the battler grip weapons, he does have a removable battle grip as well as the knife. The knife was not included with the previous CSM Amazon's driver, even though this is the one that the deluxe one came with. The other CSM one had the scythe. But the knife is here because he used the knife in the movie by stealing it from Omega. It's probably like one of my favorite shots of that whole final battle is he just rips the knife out of Omega's belt and starts stabbing him with it. So you have this really cool weighted blade. It's not, I don't know if it's full size. I mean, the knife wasn't super big in the show, but it's pretty dang close. And it feels good, especially with the weighted die-cast grip. And this is a pretty sturdy material. Like, this isn't going to bend, which is really nice. And this pulls out here like that, so pretty cool. And I like the release tabs. Feels super solid and easy to use. So there's that, and then the one other bonus item we'll talk about after is the Neo Alpha armband. This is completely separate, so we'll talk about that later. But let's talk about the sound effects, because there's a lot of them in here, and I'm not going to go through all of them in the main part of this video. So some of these I'll say stay tuned to the end if you want to hear all of them. For example, there's 121 voice lines, and we're definitely not covering that in this early segment. That would just drag the video down. But I do want to go over all the sound effects for both modes that are featured in this. So on the back, there is the on-off switch. In the center is off. To one side is normal mode, and to the other side is dialogue mode. So switching it one way, that's how you know it's in normal mode, and switching it the other way is how you know it's in dialogue mode. So in normal mode, if you pull on the handle here, you can actually hold it down if you want it to be a little bit delayed. So it does the transformation, and if you pull it again, you get the violent slash, and once more, that's it. That's all the thing does. Have a nice day. Just kidding. Those are the main functions. If you don't press any other buttons and just pull the battle grip, that's all you get. There is a sound also if you remove this. which I love all the bloody sounds, because especially when this would pull out of Omega's driver, it would sound kind of like that. And then that's about it, right? Well, there's a secret. On the bottom, there are 2 more buttons. One of these is a music button, and one of these is a sound effect button. So if you press one of them, you can find out what they are. That one's the sound effect button. Pretty straightforward, pretty simple. Now, when it comes to this driver, that's kind of too simple, right? Well, let's swap the plate out here, because I do want to show how this looks. If you push the button before you've done the transformation, either swapping plates or just turning it on, you get this sound. If you press it again, you get a dialogue line. Amazon. That's a pretty simple, reserved, normal Amazon. But if you press it again, that's from the end of Season 1. And you press it again, Amazon. Amazon. And then you get all that fun stuff. So it's kind of neat because you get the different versions of the line delivery based on different parts of the show, which is pretty cool. Now, if you hold the button down, you get the standby noise. And you press it again, Amazon. It switches back to that mode. But if you hold it down and pull the grip, and that's the idea there. Now, as you notice, of course, the lights are not nearly as bright with the green tinted eyes. That's why I typically tend to use this one if I'm messing around with it, and this one for the shelf. Now we're going to do one more version of this, which, by the way, there's the lights without a filter. And that would be the dialogue mode version. So we're going to switch the on-off switch to the opposite side. Amazon. And we can hold down the button to get that standby noise. And pull the grip. Amazon. So as you can see, or as you can hear, when you're in dialogue mode, he'll say Amazon before actually transforming, which is pretty cool. And then you pull the grip again, you get the attack noises followed up with extra sound effects. Violent slash. Violent strike. So I think you get the idea. Now the cool part with the sound effect button you get kind of grunt sounds. Now if you do remove this battler grip and say you just, stick the knife on here for fun, because, that way you don't just have a thing sticking around, you can actually press the sound effect button and it produces different sounds. So that's the blade sound. If you hold it down, it switches weapons. And now it's the scythe. You hold it down again. That's the spear sound. And lastly is the whip sound. So while Amazon Alpha didn't use these on the blade sound, you get his actual grunt noise when you're in dialogue mode because he did use the blade in the movie. So it's pretty nice that there's an attention to detail, and it doesn't seem like there's any reason to remove the different weapon sounds. So in case you want to have the sound effect where the driver is being detached or the transformation is undone, if you hold down the music button and the sound effects button, or what I find easier, hold down the dialogue, or push, not hold down, but push dialogue and sound effects at the same time, you get... and the lights flicker out. Pretty cool. That was something that totally wasn't necessary, but just a little cherry on the top. So this next segment, I'm putting a content warning in front of. It's kind of gruesome. Essentially, there's 3 sets of sound effects. We'll play twice for normal and dialogue mode, which is the sound effects of Amazon Alpha ripping the hearts out of Amazons and destroying them. It gets kind of weird, so if you're not good for the sound of blood, and the part earlier I didn't think was as bad, this is pretty much just straight, like, destruction and violence sounds. So if you'd like to skip ahead, I'll leave a time marker on the screen as well as a chapter marker in the video, so you can skip ahead to the music if you wish to skip over this part. So we're going to take a look at that now. So it's in normal mode, and after the transformation's done, if you hold down the sound effects button, you get the special finisher sounds. So that's listed as the Amazon heart being ripped out sound, and then the second one is the destruction of said heart. And then the third press, hold and press, will actually activate the sound effects for when he took Amazon Alpha, or Neo Alpha's heart in the movie. I've switched the driver back over to dialogue mode, done the transformation, so now we can do those same sounds, now with dialogue. So now we're going to look at the BGM button. The BGM button, of course, plays music from the series. There's a total of 8 tracks in this driver, and I believe most of them are different from the original Amazon's driver, and kind of more Alpha-themed in general. So that button that's down here, if you press it once, you play a track. If you press it again, it stops playing the track. I'm only going to play a few seconds of each track for the sake of time and copyright. Weird things happen on YouTube. I'm not sure if this would actually flag since it's coming out of a purchased product that I bought, Bandai and Toei, but we're going to go through this. And I actually do have the track names, conveniently, thanks to the instruction sheet. So the first track is one of the classic score pieces from the series, Mogura. I gotta say, the sound quality on this thing is really impressive. That's not like a deluxe speaker in there, and it plays the music well. Second track is Mare. Third track is Kick. Fourth is Suit. Fifth is Code. Number 6 is the Season 1 ending song, Armor Zone. As you can hear, the lyrics are included. Number 7 is Hito Dena Kuna Nata, which is a track I wasn't too familiar with. I think it's from Season 2. And then the last track is, of course, the Season 2 ending song, Die Set Down. Now, the cool part about the music feature in this driver is if you press a button to activate a piece of music, you can actually still play all the sound effects in the driver. And the music keeps playing. If you want as well, for example, if the third track is Kick, which was typically for the final attacks, so that kind of thing is what makes this really special, because yes, you could play your own music on your phone, but it's not the same feeling as being able to just press a button, play the sound effects. What's also cool is this works in dialogue mode as well. So if you want to do this, you can also play the sound effects. So I think you get the idea. Now, the one really cool feature about this, if you hold down the button and then you pull the driver handle, it'll play the music after playing the transformation. So that's pretty dang cool. Now you're probably wondering, what else could this have in it? Well, there's a hidden button up here that plays dialogue clips. So you get the idea. It's a longer line than I remember. It's 121 phrases. Like I said, we'll go through all of them at the end of the video. But if you do want to skip ahead on them, the list included in the booklet will help. But if you hold down the button, it'll skip ahead by 20. So you get fun moments from the series recreated in this driver. And that's basically all of the sound effects that this thing has in a nutshell. Yeah, the music tracks are full length, so they will play. They're about a minute or so each. The songs are the TV sized, or not the TV size per se, the Amazon Prime size, the ending size, so not the full like 4 minutes, but the minute and a half. And yeah, you can play all the sounds while playing music. You can throw in dialogue. So if you want to do something super cool, like let's switch it to dialogue mode. You can do fun stuff like that. So, mixing around the sounds, this is a blast to mess around with, and I love all the functionality. It's really impressive. So next up, we're looking at the thing I call a bonus item, which is the Militant Amazons Register. This is an armband that registered the Militant Amazons from the film, Amazon's Last Judgment. Specifically, it was used as the transformation device for Neo Alfa, the Kamen Rider exclusive to that film. And, of course, it's appropriate that not only was Alpha and Neo Alpha both played by former Sentai actors, but that they put both Alpha and Neo Alpha together in this. The armband here has got a plastic clip, which I hadn't quite gotten there, plastic clip opens up, and you can actually readjust it to fit your arm, which is pretty nice. I do like this a lot, and I do like the system, especially because we already saw it once before. It is essentially the same exact strap as the Neo armband, or the Neo register from the Neo Amazon's driver. It is basically the same design. This one does have a couple extra protrusions added, so that it doesn't slip out as easy as this did. This one had a different system, which didn't work as well. If you remember from the Neo Amazon's driver review, that thing was super bright, and so is this. But this one has an on-off switch. So it takes 3 LR44s, but it does have an on-off switch, which is nice. And it actually depends on what mode this is in, on how you transform with this device. So, if you turn it on with the lever up, you'll get standard Militant Amazon's sounds. And basically you just activate those by pushing this down. And if you do it again, you get a different set of sounds. Well, first of all, you get the transformation off sound, and then you do another set of sounds. Now, if you turn it off, flip the switch down, turn it on again, you'll get the Neo Alpha mode. That's kind of cool. It uses the Neo sound from the Neo Amazon's driver. And that second sound is the actual sound that's the injection mode that brings out his weapon, which is a wicked cool chainsaw Gatling gun thing. The Neo Alpha had a cool design. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this. It's a nice inclusion. It's definitely something that was missing out of the Amazon's roleplay collection, and it kind of makes everything feel more complete. So that's pretty cool. And as you can see here, the Militant Amazon's registry, the Neo Amazon's registry, and the Amazon's registry. This one is still a CSM style, even though it was a deluxe release, and then this is a deluxe version of this, even though the CSM original Amazon's driver came with one of those that was a lot fancier, and I think had lights too. So, pretty cool that we got all the armbands. And here we have the CSM Amazon's driver Alpha version versus the deluxe Amazon's driver. And I gotta say, this is such an improvement that I actually kind of want to go see and track down the original CSM Amazon's driver. Because this one's great, and I think the original deluxe is a good, solid release still. But the fact it was a deluxe release that's more the kid style with the kid size belt, when Amazon's was not anywhere close near to a kid's thing, always felt weird. This feels like what we should have been getting for an Amazon's driver. And I gotta say, I really like it. And then here it is with the Neo Amazon's driver, which I don't see them doing a CSM of. It already is a CSM. It's got die-cast injection shots. It's got the full-size belt. The armband it came with has the same style as the one that came with the Alpha. I don't see a Neo Amazon CSM in our near future, especially with Season 2 not being as popular, but there's just no reason for it. These kind of match together, and yeah, I kind of want that original CSM Amazon's driver in a way. And here's a comparison between the two blades. This is the deluxe one, and this is the CSM one. So you can see, not only is the grip bigger, but the blade is much longer. This one's kind of light. This one's a lot weightier. Also, what's noticeable is that there's no screws on the back of the grip. So that's pretty nice. You actually have a pretty clean look, minus that one screw there, as opposed to this gappy mess. But yeah, so that's the knife size comparison portion of the video. So that concludes my review of the Complete Selection Modification Kamen Rider Amazon's Driver version Alpha. Now, I did say that I was going to play all the dialogue lines at the end of the video, but I've actually changed my mind. What I'm going to do is upload that segment as a separate video. It would be unlisted. Link in the description will be the first link. And that, if you want to listen to all 121 sounds, that's a 17-minute video. I was originally going to tack it to the end, but I didn't realize how long that was going to take. So we're going to put it in a separate video, linked below. It'll be an unlisted video, so you can find it there. But otherwise, that is the end of the video. This is one impressive beast of a CSM, and I gotta say, I'm super, super impressed. The weight, the substantiability of the actual item is something that I haven't felt on a Kamen Rider item before. The details with the weathering is incredible. The sound effects are just, there's an insane amount of them. It's amazing. Like having 8 tracks, 121 dialogue clips, dialogue and normal mode, all the sound effects, all the really gross sound effects. There is just so much packed into this. And then they threw in the Militant Amazon register as a bonus, basically. Because this belt does so much already, and then they threw in that to kind of complete the Amazon's roleplay collection. So I really appreciate that. And yeah, overall this thing is amazing, but it will cost you, it's not cheap. $250 is less than some complete selection modification belts, but it is still up there in price. So you have to decide, is this something that you're willing to spend that money on or are able to? Not everyone can, but the availability is now so much greater than it was before. Before, it was a premium Bandai. If you didn't pre-order it through a middleman out of Japan, you had no chance of getting it. But now being distributed by Bluefin Brands, here in the US and Canada at least, there is a lot more options. So take a look around, look at, online retailers. I purchased mine from Toku Collectibles. You can take a look at Big Bad Toy Store, Entertainment Earth. GameStop even has been carrying Kamen Rider belts, as well as Amazon. So keep an eye out. This is pretty awesome. I'm kind of hoping that Team Rider might be able to work a deal to get a reissue of the original Amazon's Driver, maybe next year or later this year, because that is something that Amazon's does have that place being streamed worldwide on Amazon Prime Video, which most Kamen Riders don't have that. That is a wide availability that other Rider shows don't have, so getting as much Amazon's merchandise out over here is probably a good move. But yeah, in conclusion, amazing driver, super happy. The Kamen Rider Amazon Alpha fanboy that I am is pretty stoked to have this, and yeah, I am super, super happy. I don't know what else to say, so we're going to wrap up the video. As always, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, leave a comment down below. Let me know what Kamen Rider reviews you like to see more of. Do you like to see belt reviews? Do you like to see top 10s or figure arts? Just let me know, because I'm kind of curious what kind of Rider content everyone would like to see. I did a top 10 Kamen Rider figure arts list, and very few people actually watched it, so maybe that wasn't what people are looking for. So let me know what you want to see me do with Kamen Rider in the future. Also, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell to keep up with future uploads on this channel. It's rough out there in the YouTube world, getting stuff out for people can see it. It has been tricky. If you want to also follow updates on my videos, check out my Twitter at Soundout12. And if you want to follow my graphic designer who does art commissions, check out DarkClaw643 on Twitter. And also be sure to tune into Ninja Talks Live every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern on Visible Ninja's YouTube channel, as well as Hero Club for Life's Twitch account. We talk about tokusatsu as well as mecha anime, and it's a pretty good time. So that's Wednesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern. If you're looking for Kamen Rider news, reviews, and interviews, and more, check out hero-club.com for all of that, and on social media at Hero Club for Life. And until next time, this is Soundout saying goodbye.